Hello everyone, Nex-oz here. Oh, excuse me. And welcome to the stream. And welcome to Witch on the Holy Night stream. Where the chapter is literally Witch on the Holy Night, part 1. Or is it part 1 or part 2? I don't know. They're probably split into two. I don't know why it's called Witch on the Holy Night. Maybe because they're about to make a closing, or maybe because I'm close to the end. I don't know. Because so far, by checking the archive, my progression is filled. Is almost filled. So I'm assuming that there's a few parts of the bookshelves that I'm getting real close to the end. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. What's Martha? I don't know. Or this one, I don't know why it says new. I don't know why. Is it because this is new content, or is it because, or is it a side story? I don't know. But yeah, which brings us to here, because I don't know why it's been placed on a bookshelf rather than the actual progression of the game. Usually focuses on the main story. But anyway, but I don't know, because people say that when they mention a title or a title drop from their dialogue, people would say, roll credits, whereas the CinemaSins would say. But whatever. But, I mean, for my personal opinion, I think I only get the assumption that the title shows up at the intro, like at the beginning, rather than the end. Or maybe beginning, end, or maybe both. It's, I don't know, it's... But yeah, I don't know what the usual tactics are, but hey, here we are. So yeah, recap on the last chapter. Right. Alice was guarding the magic point, I think, that Toko is going after, just to take over the magic circle sections, just to take down Aoko. And she faced against Alice. There was some forth and back and forth. But in the end, Alice was at a disadvantage because the golem she summoned was no more than a one-trick pony, so yeah, it's supposed to be intimidating, but all bark, no bite. That's the... I guess that's her magic from that golem she made. And then Toko summoned a mystical beast, I think. A phantasmal beast that is way above like a human magician standard. Because usually you'd have a servant to handle that, but yeah, they don't got no servant, and they're all maguses, so yeah, she'd be dead if Toko didn't stop the beast. But she was so near death, so Toko was just giving her the handicap because she could have easily killed her. Now a pack of hungry wolves are about to go after her, and then she crawled in the phone booth just to contact Sojiro. Not to say that she's in trouble, just to ask if Aoko's there. But then, back to Sojiro's POV, Toko called him. Yeah, she's about to die now, so you can make a choice whether you want to save her and be my enemy, or you can just walk away. and just leave it be. And so he decided to run after her and carried her all the way. And to get a phone call from Aoko just to bring out the bad news that they got her. So yeah, I still remember. Witch on the Holy Night, Part 1. Aoko had not hung up, but the line remained silent. Alice set down the receiver, quickly put on her mantle, and made for the entrance, moving her injured body by sheer willpower alone. Along the way, she paused, turned to Sojiro, and looked directly at him.
青子に何かあったんだな。
Alice hesitated for a moment. I mean, yeah, Sojiro's very perceptive. He ain't that of a dumbass. Before pushing aside her anxiety and grabbing his... so she's actually going along with him.
しずきくん、一緒に来て。
待ってくれ。一緒にってどこに？
相田教会まで。青子の方はエリ神父にお願いするしかないから。
Father Airy? エリ神父？
相田教会まで。青子の方はエリ神父にお願いするしかないから。
Oh, so there was a church? Oh, so the church are still active. What were they called again? I think they were called Church something. I think there were the Church Enclave. I don't know, there was a certain title that involves with priest and nun, like Kie.
相田教会って病院の横にある。
Oh wow, that's convenient.
そう。知っているのなら問題ないわね。
Oh,
説明する手間も省け
he
た。
even knows the route. Probably because of his part-time delivery. Alice left the mansion and made her way down the tree-lined path. She was clearly determined, but the looks in her eyes betrayed her pain.
アリス、連絡をするなら電話は？
Sojiro asked Alice, whose grip on his hand was light but unyielding.
教会の人にならもう知らせた。
No, the church or order already knows.
もしかして病院のことを言っているなら、それこそ無駄よ。ハイヤーなんて言うけど、空を飛ぶわけでもないし。今は助けを呼ぶより、助けに行かないと間に合わない。
They. Alice had thought of everything. Wow. That fast, even though she just escaped a near death. She turned to the mansion and lightly snapped her fingers. Magic barrier. In response, a window opened and countless starlings took flight. I'm guessing the starlings are a bunch of birds? Are birds usually called starlings? I don't
1
know.
番隊は索敵。2番隊と3番隊は現場に向かって応急処置を。在庫切れになってもいいわ。まだ生きているなら、青子の心臓を止めないで。
Alice commanded the birds firmly.
しずきくんは裏庭から青子の自転車を持ってきて。
Sojiro let slip his discomfort at the thought of that thing. The custom-made red bicycle. Let me guess. Aoko advised Sojiro not to touch her bike under any circumstances. When he was cleaning the incinerator, Aoko had verbally assaulted him for nearly scratching it.
いいけど、どうするつもりなんだ、アリスは。
ここにいるより、教会にいた方がしずきくんは安全よ。それに、私も急がないといけない。しずきくん、2人乗りできる？
How obedient. While Sojiro had seen people riding tandem and was confident he could imitate them, He still wasn't quite certain he could trust a bicycle with his life. Moreover, its frame was so light, he was unsure it could support both their weights. It's a bicycle, shouldn't it carry like 2 people at least?
二人乗りってことはアリスが後ろに乗るのか？
She's not
できないならいいわ。
It's not like she'd ride it on her own. Alice turned away as if to snub him, then began walking. Unfortunately for Sojiro, he was now on her bad side.
いや、そういう意味じゃないんだ。アリスとはイメージが合わなかったから。
Wow, at a time like this. Ignoring his pleas, she continued briskly toward the woods. There was no way she was going to ride the bike now. Sensing her stubborn shriek, he desperately called out to her.
待った、今のはこっちが悪かった。すぐに持ってくるから、怒るのはつけにしておいてくれ。
Alice stopped. As soon as he saw her stop, he hurried toward the rear courtyard, grabbed the key from where it was hanging, and used it to unlock Aoko's bicycle. Oh, there was a locking. By the time Sojiro brought it back to the front of the mansion, Alice was continuing toward the forest. Didn't know there was an anti-theft lock for a bike, even in a mansion like this.
アリスの性格、なんとなくつかめてきたな。
Oh, does he now? Muttering to himself, he straddled the bike. He rested his foot on the pedal. It felt light, but sturdy. Confident the bike could support his weight and Alice, he began pedaling.
アリス！
She turned as he called out to her, before shooting him a piercing glare.
行こう。後ろの荷台に乗ってくれ。でもクッションがないから痛いと思う。辛かったら言ってくれ。止め。
私は大丈夫よ。しずきくんが嫌じゃなければの話だけど。
アリス！行こう。後ろの荷台に乗ってくれ。でもクッションがないから痛いと思う。辛かったら言ってくれ。止めるから。
私は大丈夫よ。しずきくんが嫌じゃなければの話だけど。
He had hit the nail on the head. Alice definitely held a grudge over the smallest things.
そういうことなら問題ないよ。アリスが後ろにいてくれるのは嬉しい。それで、行き先は間境界でいいんだな。
Unabashed and undaunted, he plowed on. What a cute blush. His tone seemed to ease Alice's mood. She nodded calmly and took a seat on the luggage rack above the rear tire.
手を回すけど、私が触れても平気。
ん？大丈夫だよ。体力があるのはさっき証明しただろ。
Alice silently wrapped her arms around Sojiro. Oh, what a beast shoujo scene. When she held on tightly enough, he gripped the handlebars.
よかった。
He said quietly.
何が良かったの？
Sojiro turned to her, an ambiguous expression on his face, then began pedaling vigorously. He let go of the brakes, and the bicycle hurtled down Shiro Inuzaka's steep incline. Yeah, with a downhill like that, of course that'd be fast. He clutched Sojiro tighter. She almost protested, but stopped when she saw the serious expression on Sojiro's face. Instead, she decided to tighten her grip. I mean, yeah, they are at a steep slope, so of course the bicycle has got to go fast. Under the night sky, a young girl had put her faith in a young boy. Okay, so far so good. Faster than a roller coaster, the bicycle hurtled toward Misaki Station. Around the station, there was no sight of cars or people. While the town slept under its snowy blanket, 2 people were racing like the wind. While he pedaled, the boy said,
本当によかった。二人乗りが思ったより簡単で。
Wow, he's having no problems at all. But he was alone in his relief. It was their first bicycle ride together, and they spent it speeding down an empty highway. I know, he's thinking it's so easy even though it's his first time riding it. The boy's words were lost to the howling wind, fortunately. Hey, they made it! In spite of the late hour, there were still lights on in the church. Fortunately, the light at this time of night came from the entrance to the sleepless hospital, ever vigilant and ready to receive patients. However, this was a quiet town with little nightlife. The hospital saw perhaps one emergency patient per night, however. Convenient. It was not equipped to handle tonight's sole patient. It was a little before 1 o'clock in the morning. Leaving the bicycle outside, the two headed to the church. With its snow-covered roof, the church looked like it was wearing a white cap that lit up the darkness. In the entrance stood a tall shadow. Oh, someone was waiting for them.
クオンジさん
The man's voice was placid. Dressed in a long coat, he had been waiting for Alice.
エイリ神父、青子は
ユイカが見ています。私が駆けつけた時には手遅れでした。
Oh, Aoko is already at the hospital? Surprising. And this father here isn't wearing the white collar. I don't know why. Yuika.
青崎の家に伝令を願いたいのですが。
Yeah, I don't think they're here at the moment.
青子はそれを望まないわ。それに、あちらも今は城に囚われているそうです。今夜の相手は、真っ先に青子の祖父の動きを封じたようですから。
Tied down their grandfather. The two exchanged pleasantries. Sojiro did not move from the foot of the stairs.
おや、そちらは。
Though the father seemed calm, his words had an edge to them. As if to protect Sojiro from his gaze, Alice stepped between them.
彼は青子の使い魔。契約はまだなされていないけれど。
使い魔ってアリス。
Sojiro was about to complain, but Alice shot him a fiery glare. That all but said, just shut up and play along. いいから黙れ。
そうですか。そのような申告はありませんでしたが、届けが遅れたのは不問としましょう。外部の魔術師と交戦中でしたからね。
Oh boy.
あなたたちはその撃退を最優先にした。
Oh
とい
boy.
うことで。
The glint megane. The megane Kiran. Because you know something bad is going to happen when he puts that up. Alice nodded in thanks.
では通ります。彼の同行を許可しなさい。
ご自由に。私はこれより朝廷に向かいます。管理者が変わるのなら、両教会への資料を用意しなければいけませんので。
Oh yeah, I think they're called church order. I think I did say that, right? The Holy Church Order? The Holy Church. Okay, it's the Holy Church. Or is it the Holy Order? I don't know. I don't know which is which. Which is the official name.
ああ。留守中はリツカに任せてありますから。
Oh, Ritsuka.
必要なものがあれば彼女に。
As in the tiger Ritsuka? As if passing the baton, Father Eri exited the church. Sojiro took full steps back to give him a wide berth. Glance shot. Pass shot. Walking past one person to another. The priest had a dignified air about him. To put it bluntly, he was strikingly beautiful. Okay. No homo. Straight nose, glistening. Okay. Don't be so descriptive. Not a single imperfection on his mildly effeminate face. Mildly. But that only went as far as his appearance. His manner lacked any hint of softness or grace. Just by looking at him, you could tell he was dependable, like tempered steel, despite being somewhat unapproachable. The priest disappeared silently into the night, the darkness of his coat overpowering the moonlight. In awe, Sojiro watched him leave.
なんか仙人みたいな人だな。
Senyin. In his own way, Sojiro was expressing affection. Okay, is he actually gay? For some reason, Father Aries' distant tone made him feel nostalgic. Alice gave Sojiro a deathly stare.
気を許さないで。彼は教会の人間よ。私たちを監視する側だけど、今回は彼の手を借りるしかなかっただけ。許されるなら、真っ先に消えてほしい人間だから。
I mean, could you do that in the condition you are now? Her curse ringing in the air, Alice placed her hand on the doors to the chapel. They were twice her height and who knows how heavy. It did not look like she could open them anytime soon. Sojiro climbed the stairs 3 at a time and helped Alice push the towering doors inward. Oh boy, the interior of the church. Oh god, it is fucking hot here. I just hate it when my body is all sticky. Ugh, such an icky feeling. Dim light of the chapel brought it with it the familiar scent of burning oil. The what? Ecclesiastical? Ecclesiastical? Okay, fine. Okay. How do you pronounce that? Oh boy, if this was in a spelling bee, I would have failed this.
Ecclesiastical.
Oh, it's a church name. Oh, it's a...
Ecclesiastical.
The fuck.
Ecclesiastical. Ecclesiastical.
Ecclesiastical. The ecclesiastical interior was breathtaking. The tall ceiling, the stained glass windows on every wall. It all felt intended to illustrate the presence of the Holy Spirit within those chambers. Ecclesiastical. Like the foyer in the Kuonji estate, there was not a single heater. The bitter cold made the chapel feel more severe.
Ah-chan, こっちよ。
No, she calls her Achan. Gentle voice echoed through the chapel, incongruous to its surroundings. It was the voice of a woman. A woman! Pretty sure she mentioned it was Teimu?
リツカさん、奥。
Oh, it's Ritsuka. Taiga Ritsuka? Alice made her way past the rows of pews toward the front altar. Sojiro closed the large doors and hurried after her.
早かったわね。これから迎えに行こうと思ったのに。
This is Ritsuka? She looks a bit different from Taiga. Or maybe I'm being mistaken from another Ritsuka. I mean, there's like 3 Ritsukas. There's Taiga, there's Fujimaru Ritsuka from FGO, and now there's her. Is Ritsuka a common name here?
使える足があったから。足って、あれ？あなた。早かったわね。これから迎えに行こうと思ったのに。
She sounds very similar to Taiga, though.
使える足があったから。後ろの彼。足って、あれ？あなた。
She's even wearing an orange sweater.
Oh.
Sojiro showed himself, surprising the woman. They stared intently at each other, what the other was doing here.
知り合い？
Where'd you get that assumption?
ああ、うん。まずいことに知り合い。宗十郎さん、引っ越したって話だけど、
もしかしてあっちゃんのところに下宿してるの？
Oh, is that her? Wait, could it be his landlady? Sojiro nodded. Alice turned visibly sour at this unexpected development.
どういうこと？しずきくん、律香さんとはどういう関係？
I could assume she's his landlady.
関係ってそうね。お魚屋さんでしょっちゅう割引してもらったり、
Oh,
荷物持ちを頼んでみたり、
what is this?
たまにお茶飲んだりする主婦の友みたいな。
Housewife's best friend.
意味がわかりません。律香さん結婚していないでしょ。
Needless to say, Sojiro was also not a housewife's best friend, and all that suggested, but there were more urgent matters at hand.
うわ、そこを突っ込むのか。あっちゃん、私にだけは一切妥協がないのはどうかと思うの。
Well, she is actually taking it surprisingly well.
律香さんの場合、どこまで本気かわからないから。おかしなところは全部追求しておかないといけないだけよ。
Wow, she had to be literal.
あら素敵。仲のいい姉妹みたいね、私たち。
Must have been separate.
じゃあ、その信頼に応えて本当のこと言うと、彼とは町内会の顔見知りよ。スパイ行為とかそういうんじゃないし、そもそもそんな器用な人じゃないでしょ、宗十郎さんは。
本当？
Why so suspicious of him? Alice stared straight at Sojiro to let him know she was mad at him for hiding this from her. I mean, it didn't seem important to tell.
本当だ。魚屋でバイトしてる時に知り合った人だ。前に親切にしてもらったんで、お礼にイワシを一匹サービスしたら、それ以来ごひいきに。
Persuade her to come back just to be his regular.
そうそう。商店街で買い物してれば、嫌でも宗十郎さんとは顔見知りになるわ。あっちゃんも怒るぐらいなら買い物に来ればいいのに。密かな商店街のアイドルです、彼。
The idol of the shopping district.
アイドルとは人気者という意味で、値切りやすいかもって意味じゃないような。
His apparent popularity would have to be questioned another time. Collecting herself, Alice focused on the door. In the recesses of the church.
律香さんの事情は知りませんが、彼は青子の連れです。その他に説明はいりますか？
ああ、やっぱりそういうことなのね。ま、言いたいことはいろいろあるけど、今はそれどころじゃないし。ええ、了解したわ。他ならぬあっちゃんの頼みだし、特殊な例だけど、彼はこちらで保護しましょう。
Alice nodded and began walking to the door.
アリス。
ダメよ、宗十郎さん。
As Sojiro was about to follow Alice, Ritsuka stepped in his way.
あなたは言ってはいけません。彼女たちに任せなさい。
She asserted bluntly. Oh wow. Meanwhile, Alice had reached the door and entered further into the chapel.
言ってはいけないって。どうして？
あなたのためよ。青子の容体は普通の人が見ていいものじゃない。気分を悪くするだけ。それと
Some
も
magic?
嫌な思いをしてもいいくらい青子が心配なのかしら。
Sojiro was not able to give an immediate answer. It had finally hit him just how bad a state Aoko must be in. Based on Alice's condition when he found her, he intuited that Aoko's injuries might be even worse. He tried to imagine her expression in that state, but could not.
青崎相手に心配なんかしません。
Literally, he had never been worried about her before. Not truly.
でも会いに行くのね。
はい。
He answered her reflexively. Mitsuka sighed at the boy's naivety, but nonetheless stepped aside.
どうぞ行ってらっしゃい。アリスさんが使ったドアから入って4番目の部屋よ。今一番取り込んでる頃だから、ゆいちゃんの邪魔だけはしないように。
Oh, Yui must have been the caretaker. Sojiro thanked her and went after Alice, leaving Ritsuka Sus the self-proclaimed everybody's friendly neighbor alone. Ah, so her name is Suse. Suse? Or is it Suse? Probably Suse. Ritsuka Suse.
さて、ゆいかあたりなら止めるんでしょうけど、ま、私は宗十郎さんの味方だし、傷つく男の子とか大好物だし。
Oh, wow.
少々スパルタと自覚しておりますが、これも親切な姉心と思って、宗十郎さんには後悔していただきましょう。
I mean, she did give him a warning. She spoke with force, but her words echoed aimlessly around the chapel. With a sigh, she shrugged her shoulders and made the sign of the cross in a rather unpious manner. The sound of Sojiro's footsteps grew fainter. His lack of hesitation had left a pain in her heart. And not because he did not look back at her, but because he was choosing to ignore the primal fear inside him. What's this? But why am I seeing trees all of a sudden? An elderly man once said, "An animal's death and a human's are two different things." Well, I guess so. You may think they are the same, but they differ to their core. Let me guess. Primal instinct? Our heads have known the difference since the dawn of man. An animal's corpse be it a pig's or a deer's, is different. If the swing of an axe or a machete is violent, then so must a human corpse be. Therefore, before you see one with your own eyes, you should at least understand it with your ears. Listen closely, Sojiro. Oh, is that like Sojiro's mentor? When a person dies, blood flows like a crimson river. It's too much to bear. Perhaps because he was not used to the stone path beneath his feet. Sojiro's mind wandered back to the words he'd heard as a child. Ooh, the instant he opened the door, there was a palpable change in the air. Blood. The room was small, with only a simple bed and a small wooden dresser. There, on the bed, Teimu was lying on her side. Yeah, that's Aoko, isn't it? Tending to her was the woman he'd just seen in the chapel, Ritsuka. Wait, what? The same Ritsuka? No, she only looked a lot like her. Oh, it's just a different Ritsuka. Like a sister. Her eyes were closed, and her garments covered in blood. Oh wow, like, no white clothes? No white apron? He had met her maybe once before. Yuika Suse, a nun at the church. Oh, Suse Yuika. She was doing something to Aoko. Surgery. Oh boy, the organs are coiled. Yuika held a pair of scissors and some thread. Ooh, that is a lot of blood she's losing. Her hands moved delicately, yet quickly, as though playing an organ. Her movements were precise, as if flawlessly reading sheet music. One by one, the supply of bandages diminished. Bandages recently applied to the wounds were quickly replaced with fresh ones. Gauze was placed everywhere to try and cope with the amount of blood. Once white cloth was now dyed red and discarded. Damn, that fast. The dressing scattered around the floor resembled roses. In a wilted rose garden, the nun played her organ. The scene looked unlike any reality Sojiro knew. It was clear why the air had changed. There was a savage odor in the room. Even though he was experiencing it for the first time, he knew what it was. The smell burned his lungs. He could not bring himself to look at the bed. Fighting his feelings, his eyes refused to move there. He noticed Alice next to the bed. Ever expressionless, she looked like a statue next to the grave. Except she was trembling ever so slightly. I mean, yeah, there is like no advanced technology. It could have been from fear, anxiety, rage, or a combination of the three. Before her lay a life on the verge of death. But whose life? It was difficult to tell with only a glance. Some sort of puppet covered in bandages, perhaps. Her hair should be beautiful, but fell flat, disheveled, despite her short breaths. Her chest convulsed. Up, down, up, down. And she was even breathing? Oh, God. Facetious though the thought was, Sojiro recalled the rodeo machine on the roof of the department store. The painkillers and anesthesia could not have been working. New bandages were soaked in crimson in seconds. Her fingernails bit into the sheets. Her face twisted in agony. Alright, it's the Aoko that is feeling it. Anesthesia would not be enough, so if she was still alive, she must be conscious too. It worried him that no one seemed concerned about this. In this state, she would surely lose her mind before her life. In short, the boy never wanted to see anything like this ever again. Bed sheets should be white, not red. With every blank, the color deepened. Sojiro was finally forced to accept that the bleeding mess in the center of it was her. Aoko. He felt the blood surge in his veins. The squeaking of the bed, the snip of the scissors, the gasp of agony, it all faded. All he could hear was his own pounding heartbeat. Eesh! Look at all that twisting towel. The smell of the blood she choked up sent a wave of nausea through him. His knees abandoned him. And it was perfectly understandable. His brain had to shut his consciousness off to protect itself. The mind could only take so much reality. He would give anything to never see something like that again. Well, maybe you shouldn't have walked in the door.
そうか。青子ちゃんは全部わかっているんだね。
Oh, is she having this near-death experience flashback?
自分だけのことじゃなくて、この後に起きることも、何が残って何が残らないのかも、全部まっすぐに受け止めている。それでも自分であり続けられるということは、とても強いことなんだよ。
Is that Toko? And on she went. Kind of liked her smile, but she just had to go and say the one thing I wish she hadn't. The last day of middle school seemed so long ago. As the ephemeral cherry blossom petals danced around, my little dream was crushed. Aoko's POV. I've never really considered myself strong. At least until I began remembering those words from time to time.
青崎は分かってると思ってた。いや、きっと分かってるんだな。だから、そこが強いんだろうね。
Or maybe she just needs to be strong. And lately, an idiot who said things like that had appeared in my life. I knew I always judged people more harshly than those around me, but to have someone I'd only known for a few days point that out was like a stab in the chest. Not only that, the words sounded so similar. It made me so angry I couldn't see straight. Only him and one other person have ever said anything like that to me. Then again, I suppose my sister said the same without actually saying it. You're different from us. Oh, so that other person couldn't be her sister. Maybe her mother, or maybe her close friend. But me being me, I took as a curse rather than a compliment. What is that? My actions, my choices, my morals, all the good and bad I've done. And all said and done, am I really any better than everyone else? Of course I am. I'll never sacrifice myself for those around me. They just had to call me strong, true to myself, in spite of how alone, stubborn, and ridiculous I know I can be. When I was younger, it only confused me. I mean, I don't know any other way. I am who I am. The frustrating fact is, I simply don't have the courage to give up. So why? Nanoni naze? Why do I get treated special for doing what comes naturally? The sunlight stirred her. Maybe it was the pain from having her whole body held together by arcane threads. But Aoko felt like she'd had a silly dream. Oh, has she regained consciousness? She gulped air through her painful, parched throat. Gray rays of light shone through her small window, bringing her back to reality. Wow, first words even though she... Waking up from the brink of death. Unable to bear it, Aoko attempted to roll over. Except, she could only move her right arm. She tried lifting her arm, but couldn't feel anything past her elbow. Once she stopped concentrating on her bandaged arm, it fell to the bed like a stone. Aoko took in her surroundings, moving only her eyes. Evidently, she had been asleep in this bed. Unable to feel certain parts of her body, she felt like a robot. The room was tiny and undecorated. It was like an apartment without a tenant. Judging by a good repair, she guessed that she was in night at church. Outside, it seemed closer to noon than morning. Clouds filled the sky as usual, dulling the sun's rays. Idly, she thought it could be enough to melt the snow outside. And then finally, she noticed the figure of the girl. Next to her bed, Alice Kuonji was sitting in a chair, unmoving. She called out to her, all too casually. It was more difficult to talk than she thought. Alice was her typical stoic self. Although Aoko did notice a glimpse of concern in her eyes. Wow, casual words from someone who got.
努力はしたわ。けど、瞳子さんに飲まされたものが解毒されるまで眠れそうにないの。半端な痛みは、こういう時に生ぬるいわね。
Alice's uncharacteristically vulgar comment helped Aoko feel a little more like her usual self. She felt reassured having a comrade in arms by her side instead of a concerned neighbor.
そう、アリスもやられたの。状況は大体予想してるけど、一応細部を聞かせてくれない？
Well, just to ask for details, even though Aoko remained horizontal as she spoke in a cool tone. Despite Aoko's condition, Alice granted her request. After all, they had known each other for 2 years. Alice knew exactly the kind of anesthesia Aoko Aozaki needed right now. Alice Kuonji's battle with Toko Aozaki ended in the former's victory. The Thames troll was a special familiar even among the fairy tale monsters. While lacking the incredible reality warping abilities of Flat Snark, its sheer mass durability and strength were second to none. Toko's Rune Magecraft was rendered completely unaffected by its stone armor. Oh no, it was hard. In all fairness to Toko, most mages would not stand a chance against the bridge giant. Also, it was formidable. The reason lay in the mystic's body. As a general law of magecraft, a mystic will lose to a stronger, older mystic. Thus the phantasmal beast. History of the bridge giant dated back well over 1,000 years. Its origins could be traced to the 1st century when Britannia was conquered by the Romans. Conversely, despite having roots dating back to the Age of Gods, runes had unfortunately been lost to time. Rune magecraft was a little more than an attempt to revive and use a dead art. However, monsters from fairy tales, like the troll, were different. They lived in the hands of Alice Kuonji. Nursery rhyme, Sasaki Kojiro, Sherlock Holmes, I assume. The magical world was vast, but one could probably count on one hand the number of magecraft that still functioned after being chanted into existence a millennia ago, as Alice's ploys did. In contrast, Toko, the rune user, was only about 2 decades old. Carving a rune took only a moment. There was no way a quick spell could defeat the personification of London Bridge in Alice's homeland. That being said, a beast had appeared that surpassed even those from fairy tales. The golden beast Beowulf. It seemed absurd to compare a small and relatively powerless wolf to a towering stone giant. The Thames Troll's attacks were earthquaking. Direct hit from its 50-ton strikes would smash anything to paste. Yeah, anything. While a glancing blow could still create mincemeat. And yet, the beast had attacked head-on and torn right through it. The wolf's fur bristled, and the creature metamorphized like liquid. It was a breathtaking display. Oh, transformation. Wolf howled at the moon as if in joy, and streaked forth like a bolt of golden light. In an instant, the duel was decided. The radiant spear of the wolf flew straight through the giant's chest and sank its teeth into its heart. The troll exploded. Chunks of stony muscle rained down. Luminous fur scattered in the wind. Two mystics dispersed without a trace and returned from whence they came. Curtain fell in a battle straight out of mythology. There, among the rubble of the fairy tale monster, was the golden wolf standing like a flame. How poetic! What came after could barely be described as a battle. It was more like a slaughter of defeated pawns. Wolf leapt on Alice, disemboweling her with ease. Claws cut through the protective wards on Alice's coat like a hot knife through butter. The golden wolf. This wolf, which understood human speech, could only be the magical creature known as the werewolf. Werewolves were the forest people of Western Europe, with origins far more ancient than the fabricated vampire legends of the continent. Really now, far more ancient than vampires. Older than vampires. However, none were known to have golden coats. It is said that the most elite werewolf bloodlines boasted silver fur. Silver werewolves were pack leaders, and werewolves of that caliber were considered phantasmal, rather than merely magical creatures. But the golden werewolf was superior even to that, and so transcended human knowledge. Oh no, probably she got that from a mass. She did say that she sacrificed all of her hair just to summon that beast. Alice Kuonji's ploys were among the ultimate mystics to have been created by humankind. Therefore, the Golden Wolf could only have been a mystic born of the planet. Ah. What a scale. When a celestial body has been active for millions, even billions of years, occasionally a miraculous drop bit of creation spills over into our current world. Strongest in the world, huh? This mystic has to be over 3,000 years old. Human mage. No, any living mage. Any mage living in the current magical paradigm would be helpless against the Golden Wolf. Not even theory would they stand a chance of defeating it. Which meant that this werewolf was Aoko and Alice's worst nightmare. Toko's only trump card. Choko's sole and only trump card. Couldn't think of any other way.
アリスがお手上げの相手だものね。私がどうにかできるはずもなかったわけだ。でも、要は魔術でなければいいのよね。
What, like physical attacks?
テムズの動力は魔力だけど、テムズのパンチは純粋な衝撃でしょ。当たりさえすればぺしゃんこじゃないの。
Just raw force.
残念だけど、あれ基本は狼の姿なだけで状況によって形を変えるわ。テムズの腕を受け止めた時は大猿みたいになっていたし、
Turning into a giant ape-like thing.
機関銃やロケットで狙ってもかわされるか体の硬い生き物に変化して防ぐんじゃないかしら。
What kind of description is that? Giant ape-like thing.
地球上の生き物なら何にでも変われるってことか。
What is this? A shapeshifter or something?
でもまあ質量までは無理かな。基本は2メートル台の生物のいいとこ取りってあたりで勘弁してほしいわね。
6 feet tall.
ねえ、すごく関係ないけど深海の生き物に変わられたらちょっと怖いと思わない？
Please don't jinx that. Aoko narrowed her eyes as she bemoaned this creature's existence. Conversation appeared to have revived her fighting spirit. Once again, her eyes were focused and thoughts clear. Aoko was back to her usual self.
で、その後はアリスうまく逃げられたの？
いいえ、私もあの狼にやられたわ。
Alice explained how the wolf had pinned her to the ground. Incidentally, she kept the part about Sojiro rather short. Alice herself is not entirely sure why she felt it necessary to leave most of that information out.
アリスが相手をした後、休む間もなく私のところに来たわけか。初めから昨日で決着をつけるつもりだったんだ、
兄貴。
姉妹かな。ここぞって時のタイミングは一緒だったの忘れてた。切り札は見せたからには敵を殲滅しなくちゃいけない。
Take it out fast with your trump card.
姉貴は視点を残り2つにしておいて自分の正体を告げてこっちの戦力を分けさせた。その時点で奥の手を投入してくることは覚悟してたけど、まさか人狼なんて極物とはね。
Aoko let out a heavy sigh. Alice nodded slightly in agreement.
それはそれとして宗十郎がアリスを助けに行くなんてね。感謝しなくちゃいけないんだろうけどバカな真似してくれたわ。
Yeah, indeed he is.
私が東子の立場なら報復の可能性は一つ残らず排除する。私たちがどうにかなった後、猫の手首ひねるみたいに片付けられるわよ、あいつ。
しずきくんならこちらで保護してもらってるけど。
うわ、どういう風の吹き回し？アリスがあいつの世話を焼くなんて。
だって放っておいたら青子が怒ると思って。
Alice responded with her eyes closed. Aoko frowned in silent indignation, as if she wanted to protest where Alice got that idea from.
まあいいけど、それじゃあ今ここにいるんだ、宗十郎。姿が見えないけどどうしたの？
Still unable to move her neck, she looked down as best she could. She looked
彼な
around.
ら気分を悪くして倒れたわ。今はエイリ神父の寝室を借りているけど。
Aoko furrowed her brow and collapsed. Sure, he was under the church's protection, but had Toko set the wheels in motion for his death?
何があったの？
He just... Nah, he just fainted.
それが彼 あなたを見て嘔吐したの。
Such a stupid reason. She had decided to be blunt. Aoko was taken aback. For several seconds, dim sunlight leaked through the window. When she had found her voice again, she muttered,
いいけど、ひどい侮辱よね、それって。
I know! He could have just waited at the door! This guy. Perhaps amused, or perhaps exhausted from staying up all night, Alice cracked a tiny giggle.
何よ。そんなにおかしい、アリス。
さあ、どうかしらね。けど、しずきくんにも言い分はあるでしょう。今のあなた、とても見られたものじゃないわ。
Aoko appraised her physical state. She was dressed in a hospital gown. Bandages covered the majority of her body. Right leg was in a plaster cast. Oh wow. Since she could move her right arm, she brought her bandaged fingers up to her throat. Wait, isn't her right arm like her magic bullet arm? Why'd she leave it at that? Surely Toko could have just took out her right arm easily, right?
そっか、思い出した。あのガキ、まず私の首元に噛みついたんだっけ。すごかったわよ、首が噛み砕かれるのって。ゴキーンって音が頭の中に響いて、気持ち悪いったらなかったわ。
Ugh. Beowulf bit her neck?
ち、あそこから好き勝手やられたもんだから、つい忘れてた。
Aoko sounded upbeat, but the look in her eyes was anything but. She had been torn to pieces, but her life had been mercifully spared. Mercifully. At least she hadn't been dismembered. She had been bitten, beaten, and her bones broken. Magic crest containing the Aozaki's secret arts decorated her body. Even if her spine was broken, as long as her body was alive, the crest would piece back together. Despite the crest easing the pain a little, she still hurt enough to want to kill that wolf 100 times over.
視点は全部壊された。これで三崎氏の霊脈はフリーってわけね。全容を把握してるのはうちらだけの特権だったけど、東子は昔から知ってる以上、解析の手間もいらないと。真剣な話、所有権の書き換えまで何時間かかると思う？
東子さんなら2日かからないでしょうね。
Damn.
支店の修復は土地そのものに任せるしかない。支店のプロテクトが治る頃には、この町はもう彼女のものよ。
What's she gonna do? What's she plan on doing when she has control of the town? Just to put dominion over everything?
明日の夜明けとともに破産する我が身とはね。それで、アリスの方はどうなの？まだいける？
思考魔術だけなら少しは。あとは小道具に頼ることになるでしょうね。
ああ、お話にならないか。
Yo, and let the caliber like that wolf. Aoko went silent again, staring straight at the ceiling. Alice knew all too well what that look meant. I don't know, what if they bet on Sojiro? I mean, sure, that's kind of a wild bet, but... Let Sojiro take on the wolf? Yeah, a normal human could take on a wolf. A magical wolf.
それでもやるんでしょ、青子。
まあね、私、諦めるのってできないから。で、そういうアリスはどうなのよ。
私は、一度自分のものになったものは、決して人には渡さない。
So she intends to take it back. Aoko muttered in agreement to Alice's terse response. Alice's intense attachment to her possession was enough to make even Aoko shiver. Really? In a state like her? Once something gets mine, it stays mine. To take it a step further, betrayal was an unforgivable sin. This personal motto was further proof of her uncompromising nature. Maybe if she had that flat snark, she would have had the chance. She would have had stood a winning chance against Toko.
オッケー、決まりね。じゃあ、悪いけどもう少し休ませて。今晩までには何とか動けるようにするから。
Pray by night tonight, huh? If the nun who stitched her back together had heard that, she would have fainted. Aoko could barely even eat in her current condition. Even so, Alice nodded and stood up. As Aoko's partner, she knew that once her mind was made up, she had to trust her. Silently, the girl in black began to take her leave. She stopped in front of the door, a hand to her mouth.
アリス？
Aoko was curious, suspecting that Alice had something silly to say again. Yeah, quite the contrary. Instead of blushing, Alice furrowed her brow like she was thinking over a difficult riddle.
アリス？
Aoko called out, but Alice remained with her back to her roommate.
なんで間に合ったのかしら。
Oh. She spoke as if the words had accidentally burst out from her thoughts. Ooh. Alice's question was about something Aoko could not have possibly have guessed.
あの時もそう。私たち始発で帰ってきたのに。
She carried on mumbling at the door. Unable to find an answer, Alice gloomily put her hand on the doorknob.
言いたくないなら別にいいけど、何がどうしたっていうのよ、アリス。
Alice did not respond. She opened the door to leave the room and left a few words hanging in the air.
どうでもいいことだけど、ゆいかさんにはしずきくんは見えなかったそうよ、青子。
Yuika. Couldn't see Shizuki. What's that supposed to mean? I mean, she's human, right? Or maybe it's because she's blind, I don't know. A door closed with a thud.
そりゃまた珍しい。
She's really handling this well. Despite a near-death experience. Aoko mumbled to herself from her bed, seeming slightly happier. Blind since birth. Oh, so she is blind. Suse Yuika saw the world through her other senses. She was especially sensitive to enemies, or those who bore ill will, and typically viewed almost everyone as a threat. Presumably, that was the easiest thing to pick up on. So when she said she couldn't see Sojiro, that meant he was completely harmless. Ah, that's why. And then, that harmless individual decided to pay the small sick room a visit. Sojiro looked like a stiff breeze could knock him over. It made Aoko wonder who the real patient was.
何しに来たの、あんた。
Still the same look. Though Aoko could barely move, she was still able to give him the cold shoulder. His expression gaunt, Sojiro grunted something or other before beginning to speak more coherently.
アリスが客間で眠ったから礼拝堂にいたんだけど、人が集まりだしたんで、こっちに逃げてきた。
あ、礼拝の時間か。クリスマスだってのによくやるわ。
Oh. Oh, there was Christmas gathering in a church like this? Or probably could be the only church in Shiro Inuzaka? Is that the town's name? It was indeed Christmas, but regular mass was on Christmas Eve. The ones gathering in the chapel must have been truly devout followers. Tourists were rare in Misaki after all. Oh yeah, Misaki. Is this like the only church in Misaki? God damn it, I'm sweating here. Alright. Oh, the seat is so sweaty too. God, it's disgusting. Okay, turn the AC a little bit. So much so that almost no one visited the area this time of year. The worshippers must have been locals.
それで別にどうってことないでしょ。探せば顔見知りもいるんじゃない？
Aoko was as distant as ever. She clearly had not forgotten the fact that he had vomited when he saw her, and a hint of spite leaked into her voice. I know, that's the stupidest decision from you. Then again.
いや、ちょうどいい機会だから、いろいろと聞きたくなって、少し話をしていいかな。
Oh wow, talk to a bedridden girl that just escaped death for the bare teeth. Since Aoko was always in a bad mood, Sojiro did not pick up on anything out of the ordinary. She wanted to tell him to go drink some water because he looked ready to collapse, but he didn't seem aware of his condition. And to be fair to him, Alice did say Aoko was in bad shape, given how accustomed to blood Sojiro was. It was no wonder he had fainted. Oh, hello, Rianvani. Weird question. Did you ever watch the Boys TV series? Sadly, no. I've been wanting to watch The Boys, like, for a while. I mean, I see some clips here or there. Have they, like, released a new season already? Because I'm not sure. Also, I don't got, like... I don't got, like, Amazon subscription, so... So, yeah. I mean, I was giving a thought that I could watch it on some TV show browser, hopefully, but I don't know if there's any like reliable source that I could watch it with all the loaded ads and all piracies. Yeah, I know piracy is a thing. It's just I don't know what reliable TV shows I could watch for free. So yeah.
ああ、そうか。話なんてまだ無理だな。すまない。出直してくる。
Wow, how considerate. Sojiro seemed to have misunderstood Aoko being deep in thought, as not having enough stamina to speak. Naturally, this did not sit well with Aoko. Not playing roulette. Yeah, I mean, I did play Wua, but usually I stream like for the story content. So, yeah. I mean, there's like this weird horse betting race event. I don't know why they implemented that, but it's like, huh, okay. I mean, personally, I kind of missed a day, so I hope this doesn't... So I hope I don't miss any of the days to get some free asteroids here. So, yeah. Yeah, real gambling. Yeah. Real gambling indeed, at its finest. Although I never bet horse racing before because yeah, it's like that. But Carthacia is coming in the next patch, so yeah, I'll be pulling for her. Because I just realized that she's also voiced as Ryder Medusa from Fate. So yeah, that's a plus. I mean, Yu Asakawa does have like a role between playing as the young girl and mature woman, since she does voice as the adult Medusa and the younger version of Medusa.
待ちなさいよ。話だけなら別に構わないわ。やる気持て余してるし、暇つぶしがてらに相手してあげるわよ。
I did play this visual novel of Fate. Want spoilers? Which Fate? Because this is Witch on the Holy Night. It's kind of like a spin-off here. I can talk just fine. So I could use a distraction. Oh, putting a top front.
ま、退屈しのぎにしてはちょっとグレード下がるけど、この際贅沢言ってられないし。
What could have been the best distraction? Her nurse? Sojiro sensed this was going to be rough, but took a seat on the chair next to the bed.
で、何が聞きたいの？
Aoko spoke energetically in an attempt to distract her from weakened appearance. Also, I'm not sure if I'm close to the end. It says The Witch on the Holy Night Part 1, so I don't know. Naturally, she knew she was fooling no one.
やっぱり青崎は強いな。安心した。
Wow, way to grate her nerves. Sojiro said, nodding in admiration. Aoko shot him an unimpressed look in response to the unwanted praise. Oh, cat got your tongue?
あんたってほんと間が悪いわ。いいわよ、別に。私の夢の話だから、そっちが気に病むことは。
Do you now? She glowered, remembering. Come to think of it, almost everyone in her dream was here in the church, turning her dowered expression into an irritated one or an irritated one? I'm pretty sure it's an irritated one.
やめ、こんなつまんない話。聞きたいことがあるなら手っ取り早く済ませちゃってよ、宗十郎。
Throw compliments and then maybe it's like the line in Hooker thing. Oh god damn it, so sticky.
よかった。じゃあまず今の状況を聞かせてくれないか。瞳子さんの話じゃ俺も無関係じゃないそうだし。
Of course he would. Sojiro spoke calmly. Okay, it is different visual. Yes, it. Oh, don't worry. I think a handful would get mistaken this as a fate, since yes, this is come from a type moon, but it's like a different one. You know how type moon is. They do spin-offs here or there from different sources. You know, like Fate Apocrypha, Fate Extra. And then you get Garden of Sinners with Ryo Hishiki. Sojiro spoke calmly, making Aoko wonder if he really understood the gravity of his situation. He was Toko's enemy now. He was defenseless and needed protection. Neither Aoko nor Alice could help him, and the church could withdraw their sanctuary at any moment. A little not fully. Oh yeah. Okay, well, I hope you're enjoying this so far, though. He had picked a side, and that turned him from innocent bystander into target. The answer he saw was simple as that. Was as simple as that. He knew the facts. He was not a mage, and he was therefore powerless.
まあ、それでもアリスは助けられたわけだし。
Aoko did owe him for that. To say thanks, she decided to at least give him the whole story up until now.
よし、今までの経緯も含めて軽く説明してみましょうか。私も何か得るものがあるかもしれないし。
Get something out of it? Like what? Aoko composed herself before beginning her explanation. I mean, the reason why I'm just playing this was because solely due to Aoko. Considering, like, when I saw her, because, yeah, she's pretty hot. Even as an adult, too. The battle began at the end of November. A lot had happened since then. including meeting Sojiro. I mean, it's related to some way, but not particularly in the Fate timeline. I mean, look, in the end, it's just... You're just gonna have to understand that from these Fate works, or any Type Moon works, it can be very coherent. So, you're just gonna have to understand that. If you want to understand Fate series, like, at least a bit of a handful, then you could read the visual novel. I mean, there's Steam on right now. Or you could watch the Unlimited Blade Works and Fate Zero. And probably after that, watching those, then you can just watch whatever works you, or play whatever games you want to experience the story. Cause the Fate series is very coherent, so I don't think you could easily watch it in a chronological order. All you have to do is just get the general idea of it, that the Fate series is basically like a Holy Grail war with a battle royale for getting the Holy Grail to grant their wish. And there's like the masters and servants. That's the general idea. But it's just this one usually focuses on the Magus POV. I already watched. Okay, good. So this is just... Okay, so you're perfectly fine. You're good to go. I did play visual novel. Oh, okay. I mean, I was kind of saving the Fate Stay Night visual novel, like in my wish list. I haven't bought it yet, so... But I do get the assumption that there's like 3 different routes in the Fate. And I think in the original work there is some sex scenes, so I kind of want to do have a full experience of it, but I guess it's like on the safer side. Who knows, maybe I'll watch the sex scenes later? I mean, I don't know if I would stream the Fate Stay Night visual novel.
三崎市に貼られた結界の端っこが何者かに消されたのが発端だった。私が跡継ぎになってから5度目の三崎市を狙う敵の登場ってわけ。
Fifth time.
今回の敵は私たちとは直接戦わず、まず土地を奪うところから始めたわ。
Wow, just doing in like a Cold War tactic.
今までのやつは私たちを半人前と舐めていたから、大抵は真正面から仕掛けてきて、勝手にアリスの猟犬の餌食になったんだけど、まあそれはどうでもいいとして。
Bunch of amateurs all full of themselves. Ended up as kibble for Alice Watchdog.
町の結界には2種類あって、侵入者を見つけるものと土地の力を有効利用するものがあるの。
I assume her watchdog might have been Flatsnark. 2 bounded fields. Ah, so that's what it was called, bounded fields. Detects intruders, siphons energy.
敵が壊したのは土地の結界の方で、これが全部壊されると、私やアリスは土地の所有権を失ってしまう。
With Sakura. Oh, so you took the Heavens Field route. Interesting. I mean, I kind of like Sakura too. But although I haven't watched the Heavens feel movies yet, but I do get the assumption that her route is kind of fucked up, so I'm not gonna get spoiled. I'm just trying to make preparations. Eventually. Eventually. Entire field is destroyed, then Alice loses.
土地のないはぐれ魔術師と同じになっちゃうのよ。
Yeah, Unlimited Blade Works was really good. I mean, it's ufotable. Their animations are like like they're just like art masterpieces. And I've even seen the preview of the Infinity of the Mugen Castle of Demon Slayer. It's like, damn, that mansion is so big and wide, like so different from the manga. But yeah, they're just, but yeah, all artistic animations. Probably one of my favorite studios.
もちろんそうならないように侵入者をあぶり出すための結界があるんだけど、こっちには何の反応もなかった。
Oh wow, someone put a fuse on that?
ま、当然よね。今回の敵は私の姉貴、青崎瞳子その人だったんだから。
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that in the Garden of Sinners, I didn't realize that in the Garden of Sinners it was Aozaki Toko, like after, like I assumed that this Aozaki Toko was after Garden of Sinners because of due to her different look. She had short hair, but this is like the younger version. And from the Garden of Sinners, from what I assume on Aozaki Toko, it's like the older version is like I just thought, like, the first time I discovered Aozaki Toko was when I was watching Garden of Sinners. But I didn't expect that it was set after Witch on the Holy Night, so. But hey, it's all good. It's all good. It's kind of a shame though, because Witch on the Holy Night Toko is like way hotter than the first time I discovered her, like in the Garden of Sinners.
青崎の結界は同族である姉貴を敵とみなさなかった。
Oh wow, what a good blend. Still have this game on my PC, just found out. Oh, do you? Well, if you got the time to read, I hope you enjoy it. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm just following the story.
あるいは姉貴は結界の抜け道、構造の資格をついたのかもしれない。もともとうちの後継者はあの人だし、それぐらいの知識はあったでしょう。
Could put some more security on the conditions and all.
そうして姉貴は私たちに見つかることなく好き勝手に結界の視点を壊し始めた。時間をかけてゆっくり壊していったのは外からやってきた部外者を演じていたからでしょうね。さすがに連続して壊されればこっちも身内の犯行だと疑うし、うち親戚である浅木家とは仲悪いままだしさ。
Asagi. I'll try when I get Asagi. That name sounds familiar. Yeah, see you later. I hope you have a good day. Thanks for watching, Rion Vani. It's good seeing you. It's good that you're watching here. Asagi. 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 Asagi family. Is it Asagami Fujino? I mean, I don't know any Asagi.
姉貴の芝居に騙された私たちが間抜けなんだけど、セオリーとして結界崩しは長丁場になるものなの。管理地の結界は強固に作られているからね。普通は半年単位での攻防になる。
Damn, half a year.
攻める側はまず結界を形取る視点が何個あるか、それがどの5大要素でくくられているか、退去の正しい順序はどれか、それらを地道に解き明かしていく。
Also, there are conditions.
もちろん管理地の魔術師たちの目を盗みながら。対して守る側は侵入者がいることに気づくから、悪さをされる前に敵の拠点を見つけ出して外敵を排除する。
So this Toko was going on a mission impossible.
こんな感じで結界崩しは長期戦、あるいは前哨戦になるものなの。
Drawn out battle or preemptively.
大抵は攻める側が視点を壊すぞとアピールして、土地の持ち主を翻弄疲弊させてから、魔術師同士の直接対決で決着がつくわ。なんで
Usually.
結界を全部壊す必要はないのよ。管理地の持ち主を始末した方が早いし、その後は術式さえ解読しちゃえば土地を結界ごと横取りできる。
So Toko decided to take the long game.
わざわざ壊して作り直すより、昔からある結界の方が土地に馴染んでいて強力だしで一石二鳥でしょ。
If you don't destroy the fields, you don't have to remake them. Ones that have been in the land for years are stronger. Ah, I see. That was how Alco and Alice were duped. They never thought the enemy would waste the time and effort needed to break all sigils.
だから私とアリスはとりあえず受けに回った。視点を探すために町を調査している敵を待ち伏せて、これを片っ端から倒そうって。でもそのうちの一つがケチのつき始めだった。三崎町の公園で山張って待ち受けていた時、どうでもいい第三者が覗き見してやがったのよ。
Ah, indeed. It was the ultimate taboo in the world of magecraft. The existence of mages must never be revealed to
そ
outsiders.
の後のことはわかるでしょ。私は敵との小競り合いをアリスに任せて、それより重要な目撃者狩りに専念せざるを得なくなった。言っとくけど、これはあんたのことだからね。そこで我関せずみたいな顔しないこと。
No sooner had Alco said that, Sojiro gave her that exact look. Clearly, he had been listening, but not necessarily understanding.
ま、いいけどね。宗十郎がそんなだから秘密は漏れなかったんだし。で、あんたっていう目撃者を消そうとした私の単独行動は、敵にしても都合のいいものだった。強敵であるアリスがいないんだから、敵はこれを機会に私を始末しようと、特注品の人形を差し向けた。と思っていたけど、あれはただの嫌がらせね、間違いなく。そうでなきゃ、私そっくりの人形なんて派遣するかっての。
Sojiro nodded, thinking back to the Alco replica.
あれのことは忘れてちょうだい。まあ、そこから先はあんたもうすうす知ってるでしょ。私とアリスは敵との戦いに専念することになって、毎日のように捜査の手を空振って決戦の夜を迎えて、今はこうしてる。大体の経緯はこんなところよ。
She stared down at her body, as if recalling what had happened would help her accept her current state. Under the sheet, magical energy steadily flowed through her partially bandaged body.
青崎、これまでの君たちの話は分かった。けど、肝心の今の状況はどうなっているんだ？
Isn't that fucking... Oh yeah, she hadn't told him. Sojiro's specific concern was the reason Aoko was lying there. More than anything, he wanted to know what had happened to her the night before.
バカね。状況も何も完全に私たちの負けじゃない。
Judging by her tone, she would have raised both hands sarcastically in celebration if she could.
負けた？
そう。事実は正しく受け止めなくっちゃね。5つの視点が全部壊された時点で勝負はついたの。管理地の所有権は宙ぶらりで、明日には東子の手に渡るでしょう。で、それを阻止したいこっちは、私もアリスもこのありさま。もう立場は逆転したから、これから私たちは挑戦者。つまり、はぐれ魔術師ってことよ。
Which meant that Aoko, Alice, and Sojiro only had a few more days with which to utilize the church's services. Right, the church was not only an arm of the Mages Association, but also a branch of the Holy Church that monitored heresy. Yeah, I do assume that the Holy Church does incline with Mages Association. Aoko and Alice were owners of Misaki City's spiritual lands, but they belonged to neither of these organizations. The only reason the church helped them at all was because they were the land's administrators. Once those rights were lost, the church would have no reason to provide any further aid.
エイリ神父はコウモリだから私を助けてくれたけど、ユイカさんは教会の代行者だから、傷が塞がったなら明日にでも出て行けって言ってくる。
Huh.
教会にとっちゃ魔術師なんてもともと排除すべき商売敵だからね。バカリツカはま、泣きつけば力にはなってくれるでしょうけど。
Yeah, she does seem like the type of person. She's just like a nice person. Sojiro understood little of what Aoko was talking about.
そうじゃなくて、青崎、昨日の夜、何があったんだ？
He specifically wants to tell him. Sojiro pressed her, and Aoko really wished he had not.
見てわからない。惨敗なんてものじゃないわ。
Nah, he wants the full details.
喉に食いつかれる。体中好き放題噛まれまくる。挙句に右のママなんてなくなってたそうよ。
No, not the thigh!
ま、アリスのチョコレートのおかげで出血死は免れたけど。
She knocked on the cast around her leg. Aoko spoke casually, but was trying to hide how much she wanted revenge for being humiliated. In contrast, Sojiro felt empty. The little color he had on his face began to fade. Was he repulsed by the terrible situation, or were his instincts telling him to flee? Regardless, he appeared very human.
なんでそこで固まる？あ、そっか。私を見て吐き出しちゃうぐらいナイーブなんだっけ、宗十郎ってば。大丈夫よ、今はくっついてるから。ユイカさんは治療専門だし、私だってただやられてたわけじゃないし。復元は青崎の得意分野だから、あれくらい問題ないわ。
Oh, so Aozaki has regeneration healing? Regeneration magic? She gave him a reassuring look, but his expression was unchanged. Aoko had expected him to worry, but this level of concern made it hard for her even to berate him. Feeling embarrassed, she started talking again.
けど姉切ったら、どうやってあんなのを手なずけたんだろう。金の狼なんて伝説の中にしかいないと思ってた。神代の神秘であるあいつには千年クラスの魔術じゃないと太刀打ちできない。かといって殴り合いでどうにかできる相手じゃないし。
As the images of the night before entered Aoko's mind, she bit her lip in anguish.
金の狼？
Conversely, the bizarre phrase snapped Sojiro out of his state of shock.
そう、黄金の人狼。金狼って言った方がいいのかな。
She's just mumbling to herself in front of
狼
Sojiro.
男って言ってもわからないわよね。人間と狼のいいとこ取りみたいなやつと思えばいいわ。野獣というより魔獣の類よ。普通の人狼なら対抗手段はあるんだけど、トウコが連れてるのは黄金の毛並みをした怪物でさ。
It's not. Sojiro would actually square up against a werewolf, right? That would take a A stupid idiot to do that.
あれは原初の人狼の決闘で魔獣を通り越して幻獣の域に達している。聖域の相手にはそいつらを上回る神秘、積み重ねた時間とか魔術の奥義じゃないと無効化されるのよ。魔術は万能だけどこの年月の差だけは覆せない。
The older it is, the stronger it is. The stronger it is. Huh.
ま、人間の魔術師にとっては天敵みたいな自然災害ね。
Her words indicated more admiration than hatred. The way she'd whispered about the wolf. Strangely, it made sense to Sojiro.
何？
いや、要するに青崎たちじゃかなわない相手なんだな。なんてひどいやつだ。アリスはお腹が裂かれてた。青崎は傷ついてないところはないぐらいだ。
Damn.
子供なのに。いや、子供だから加減がないのか。
I guess it's because he's a kid that he doesn't know how to hold back. Oh, he could tell it was a kid? Sojiro's face was ghostly pale as he muttered nervously. Alco merely nodded in agreement.
ほんと。人の体を何だと思っているのかしらね。あのお子さん。なぬ？
He actually knows that it's a kid. He could tell that a wolf was a kid.
今、子供って言った？あんた、なんでそんなことまで知ってるの？
やっぱりそうなのか。金色の髪なんて2人もいないと思ったんだ。そいつなら一度見かけたことがある。
He's seen a golden wolf? Since when?
青崎が口にしたような怪物じゃなかったけど、森の奥で。
We were deep in the woods. It didn't look like anything like the monster you described, though.
木の実が2人がかりでとっちめようなんて怖いこと言い出してさ。金一個ないから止めたんだよ。
Oh, the kid with the golden hair. Kinomi wanted me to run after him. Told him no way. The kid freaked me out. I knew there was no catching him. Oh, it must have been that abandoned school building. His tone was as curious as the things he was trying to articulate. Alco, however, had more pressing matters. Much more pressing.
見たって、どこで？
学校の旧校舎。あ、そういえば挨拶程度なら話もしたっけ。一度だけアルバイトの時に牛肉50キロを生で届けたことがあって。
この大
Oh, bakamono. Strangely satisfying slapping sound rang out. Ignoring her words completely, Algo had grabbed a slipper and thrown it at Sojiro's unassuming face as hard as he could. She could. She panted, as Sojiro was knocked out completely out of his chair. For a while, neither moved.
なんで怒るんだ、青崎。
Yeah, so unreasonable. Just to mention a kid. Just to mention the word kid. Boy asked, unfazed, as he slowly picked himself up. He sat cross-legged, as Aoko scowled at him like an enemy.
当たり前じゃない。なんでそんな怪しいこと黙ってんのよ、あんたは。
言うほどのことでもない。第一、君たちにこんな話をしても怒られるだけじゃないか。
Aoko knew he was right, and so she swallowed her words. She imagined themselves at dinner.
ところで今日、牛肉の山を担いで届けたんだ。一匹丸ごと。いや、あるところにはあるものだね。
Delivered
お金と
amount.
食欲。
Rich people live in a different one. If he actually said it, Aoko and Alice's response would have been less than cordial.
それはそうだけど。
Wait, let me rewind.
見たって、どこ？
学校の旧校舎。あ、そういえば挨拶程度なら話もしたっけ。一度だけアルバイトの時に牛肉50キロを生で届けたことがあって。
50 kilos of raw beef? And he paid him?
なんで怒るんだ、青崎。
I know, like, would you, like, start up a conversation like that? Like, so
ところで
weird,
今日
out of pocket?
牛肉の山を担いで届けたんだ。一匹丸ごと。いや、あるところにはあるものだね。お金と食欲。
Yeah, deliver a mountain of beef to to just one animal?
本当に金髪の子供が旧校舎にいたの？
それが青崎の言う人狼かどうか自信はないけど、少なくとも町中の料理店が入れ替わりでおかしな注文を届けてるのは事実だ。
Imperial Metropolis?
駅前の大抵となんてお得意様だって。
確かに食事のたびにあいつを外に出してちゃ目立つだろうけど。
She did not want to believe it, but the child had to be the werewolf. Could Toko have been so careless as to hide him in plain sight? It didn't matter at this point. With the werewolf's habitat revealed, Toko's base had been revealed too. To take over the bounded field, she needed an inconspicuous place to store materials. Misaki High School's old building was the perfect place.
つまり全ての鍵はあんたが隠し持ってたってわけね。
Hey, don't blame him. It would have been so weird if he just mentioned it now,
隠していたんじゃない。
before.
だいたい青崎が裏山の掃除に参加していたらその時に分かったんじゃないか。飛び丸一人に任せず青崎も掃除に出ればよかったんだ。
Wow, it caught her off guard now. In response, Sojiro's infallible logic, Aoko snapped her fingers. She's even blushing too. Whoa, what was he doing? Instead of another slipper missile, she let out the faithful white collar express how she felt. And with the tightening of the collar... Oh! Oh, it's his collar getting tightened. Sojiro realized something. Aoko had changed. From the bed, she looked down on him with a commanding glare. Though weak from her injuries, she was as sharp as ever. He would be forgiven for forgetting she was ever a patient. She was raring to fight. It went without saying who her rage was directed at.
青崎
Aoko responded in a vulnerable tone. Perhaps she had been taken by surprise. Now she had an objective. She had been lost in her own little world.
ありがとう、宗十郎。
He expected her to be sarcastic, but this was different. She was genuinely thanking him. He had never known her to be like this and was taken aback.
あのね、とにかくトウコの居場所が分かったのはあんたのおかげだから礼ぐらい言っておこうと思ったの。それがお気に召さなかった？
いや、
She's praising
お
her.
礼を言ってもらえるのはいいことだけど、まさかその体でトウコさんのところに行くつもりか。
His tone was closer to scolding than sympathetic. Aoko simply nodded resolutely.
取られたものは取り返すものよ、宗十郎。それもすぐに相手のものになってしまう前にね。ぐずぐずしている暇はないわ。
She sounded unshakable. Even so, Sojiro would not back down. Oh yeah? You got a better idea, boy?
勝ち目がなくてもか。暇はないと言うけど、今はそれ以上に休息が必要だろう。その傷だって今は見れるけど、昨日はひどかったじゃないか。生きていたのが幸運なぐらいだ。
違うわ。あれは幸運なんかじゃない。そんな玉かっていうのよ、トウコが。
幸運じゃない。
そう。トウコはね、私が生き残れる程度の傷にとどめたのよ。今回は見逃してやるから、もう一度やってこいって意味でね。
Yeah, she could have easily killed her beforehand, and she just granted her mercy.
だから私は生きてるんだし、トウコは私が行くのを待ってる。お互いがお互いの舞台の幕を下ろすために。そうでなければここまで待った意味がないでしょ。いやだけど、あんたの言葉を借りるならね。
Irritation tainted Aoko's word. From the side, she looked terrifyingly serious. She was ready to fight to the death. Toko had given her little choice, Sojiro could understand neither sister.
殺すために生かしたっていうのか、トウコさんは。青崎はそれが分かっているのに行こうとしている。
そうよ。勝負はついたけど、まだ私たちの話は終わっていないもの。確かに全開してから行った方がいいに決まってる。けど、そうしている間にトウコは岬の深部にたどり着く。そうなったら、私の最後の切り札さえ使えなくなる。自分にできることを自分からなくしてしまうのは。
Though the pain in her azure eyes was not as deep as the pain of death, it spoke of the regret she would feel if she did not do everything possible while blood still floated through her veins.
納得いったのなら黙ってね。いい？これは私の戦い。あんたには何の責任も関わりもない私の人生なの。座して死を待つなんてまっぴらごめんよ。勝つ気があるならいつまでもベッドで寝てるわけにはいかないでしょ。
Sojiro was dumbstruck. Aoko could never let anyone else get involved. Whether that was because she cared or cared less, he could not tell. With what he did understand, though, was if he wanted to stop her, he would have to do so with his bare hands. And he knew better than to try that. Even so, he had to ask one last question. If he did not, he would not be able to live with himself after leaving this room.
わからないな。青崎はなんでそこまでするのか、俺には想像もできない。君を縛っているのは義務と強制。どっちなんだろうね。
There was a sadness in his eyes. However, Aoko was unmoved by them.
らしくなく難しいこと聞いてくるのね。いいわ。口にしても仕方のないことだけど答えてあげる。その2つはね、常に私を圧迫してるものだと思う。けど勘違いはしないで。義務も強制も誇りも恐れも周りから与えられたものじゃない。けどらしくな。
わからないな。君を縛っているのは義務と強制。
Obligation.
どっちなんだろうね。
いいわ。その2つはね、常に私を圧迫してるものだと思う。けど勘違いはしないで。義務も強制も誇りも恐れも周りから与えられたものじゃない。トウコと戦うのをやめたところで祖父は私を叱らないだろうし、アリスも文句は言わないでしょう。ここで逃げてもそれはそれで誰にとってもどうでもいい話になって終わるだけ。だから他人は関係ない。本当に意味なんてないのよ、何だって。でも私はトウコから逃げたりしない。これはただのここにいるっていう存在証明なの。私は単に意味がないからこそできることは全部やるって決めただけなんだから。
No meaning. That's why I can do anything. Because no consequences, nobody would see it. With fiery passion, Aoko Awazaki had said her piece. With no heads to turn to, Sojiro was left with a pang in his chest. He did not know why, but her words angered him. Then again, at the same time, her self-confidence had him in wonder. Even though she had said that, her life had no meaning, her stubbornness gave meaning to everything.
じゃあ、それがたとえ。
Without thinking, he started to ask another question. Maybe he wanted to change her mind. Maybe he just wanted to hear her answer.
たとえ他の誰も見ていなかったとしても。
It came out as a murmur. Indeed, if no one was watching, no one could know that she had fled. This was the situation Aoko was in. Even so, she shot him down instantly.
あら、見てるわよ。少なくとも私自身がね。
Well, that's shocking. Never thought she'd make a genuine answer like that. Her expression brightened, possibly because she had been surprised to state the obvious. Sojiro was wide-eyed in shock, but Aoko remained nonchalant.
知らないの、宗十郎。生きてく上で一番の観客っていうのはね、他ならぬ自分自身なのよ。 だから
Nobody
人生っていうのは油断ならないんじゃない？
Nobody watches you more than you. Looking out for yourself, huh? Sojiro did not respond to her somewhat exasperated tone, but simply rose to his feet. He looked defeated, which was not like him at all.
宗次郎？
すまない。君が素晴らしいことを言っているのはわかるんだ。けど、俺にはわからない。
He meekly walked toward the door. As he placed his hand on the doorknob, he paused. For a few seconds, he fought with himself, desperately trying to think of something to say. No words came forth, and so he opened the door. It swung with a strange creak, and he left the room. After watching him go, Algo turned her gaze toward the window. It was nearly evening. A thin veil of darkness was threatening to descend on the town outside. By evening, only Sojiro remained in the chapel. He sat alone at the end of the pew, slouching helplessly like a guilty believer ready to confess. The chilly air seeped through the walls, turning breath to mist. The frigid air stole the heat from the body without mercy. Sojiro looked around at the chapel's tall ceiling and spacious hall. The room made the air feel colder somehow. All alone in the chapel, in a frigid room. Luckily, he brought some coat, right? Unsure of what to do with himself, he stared into space. Existential crisis? Well, I get it. He's just like everyone else on the human instinct of not wanting to die. Just like any other... Just like like Ryogi's husband. I think his name was Hokuto. Hokuto? No, it's Kokuto. Yeah, Mikia Kokuto. Yeah, Kokuto. First and foremost, he could not understand what the buzzing sensation was in his chest. Time passed by. No answers came. To onlookers, he must have seemed deep in thought, or in a deep sleep, like how he would turn to stone if left be. Either way, he clearly looked down. The problem was his lack of awareness. Not that he was aware of it, of course.
おや、夜間の礼拝とは感心です。
No, is this Father Aerdi? Sojiro raised his head and turned to where the Yep, Father. Stood before the altar was the man from last night, dressed in priestly garbs. How long had he been standing there? Sound reverberated dryly through the chapel hall. Sojiro did not have the strength to stand, let alone leave. He just stared at the approaching shadow.
もっとも、この教会に精霊なんていませんけどね。
Yet it's a church.
座りますがよろしいですか?
The priest pointed at Sojiro's pew. Without waiting for an answer, he took a seat at the opposite end.
改めて挨拶を。私は文塚エイリ。
Hey.
この教会の何なんでしょうかね。書類の上では持ち主になるんでしょうか。エイリ神父と呼んでください。
Eiri Shimpu.
あなたは静木宗十郎くんですか。なるほど。確かにユイカには見えない。
Father Aerie spoke in a gentle but uninvested tone. He was a thorough egoist. Sojiro knew all too well about people who spoke this way. The individual who cared for him when he first came down from the mountain was one of them. Sojiro glanced across him apathetically. Father Eri seemed unfazed by the lack of direction to the conversation.
少し君と話がしたいのですが。
Sojiro responded with a nod. And Father Eri replied with an artificial smile.
青子が心配のようですね。
別に律香さんにもそう聞かれましたけど、青崎の心配はしていないんです。
Sojiro stared straight ahead as he answered, his voice sounding uncharacteristically weak and unsure.
けど今はずっと彼女のことが気にかかっている。それがなんだかわからなくて、さっきから考えてる最中です。
簡単ですよ。君は単に青子に嫉妬しているのです。
Oh, so it's envy. With those few words, Sojiro snapped out of his funk. He clapped his hand and turned toward the priest.
そっか。俺は単に青崎が羨ましかっただけなんだ。いや、でもそれは困るな。自分の中にそういうところがあるなんて気づきもしなかった。
Oh, he never knew the emotion of envy? Father Eri did not respond to his confession like ramblings.
それで話っていうのは何ですか？
いえ、話というより質問です。君は今まで山奥に住んでいたと聞きました。そこで一つどうしても気になることがあって。
気になることですか？
はい。おそらく今まで誰もあなたにこの手の質問をしなかったのでしょう。
What, why do you decide to live on the city?
それはあなたが他人にその手の不安を感じさせないからです。実際私もそう思いますし。ですからまあこれも縁ですし、私も肩書きがこれですしね。迷える子羊がいるんですから、それなりの務めを果たさないと後ろめたいというか。
Wow, fully dedicated to his role as a father, huh? Despite being young. Father Eri looked at Sojiro placidly. His pupils were black holes that could suck the soul out of your body.
おかしなことが気になるんですね。その質問というのは。
いえ、ごく自然の疑問ですよ。あなたはなぜ山から降りてきたのか。そこでなら君は幸福だったでしょうに。
Called it! I knew he was gonna ask that. What reason did you come to the city? Sojiro was not sure what he had done, but it sounded as though the priest was accusing him of something. Then again, it was a reasonable question, if a little pointless. Sojiro had no answer. Father Eri ignored the sullen boy and continued.
山での生活がいかに厳しいものかは私も人並みには知っています。若い頃ちょっとした手違いで遭難したこともありますしね。
Oh, he was surviving in the mountain?
山での生活はこの上なく簡素です。何しろ生きること以外に時間を割く余裕がない。楽しむために生きるのではなく、生きるためにただ生きる。生活は必要最小限をさらに切り詰めたものとなっていく。
Minimalistic lifestyle seemed full of excess.
山での生活に比べれば、都市のあり方は楽園以外の何者でもないでしょう。ですが、楽園の定義は人それぞれです。
Sojiro still did not answer. His expression remained blank. The only sound was the priest's voice echoing around the chapel.
一粒の種の誕生すら喜びになる生活。電気の明かりがどれだけ暖かでも、自然のままの厳しい寒さを君は尊んでいたはずです。
Respect the bill code of nature more.
なのになぜ降りてきたのですか。なのになぜ一粒の種のでなのになぜ降りてきたのですか。山にいれば君は幸せだったでしょう。
Yeah, he could have lived a better life in the mountains. He could have lived the mountains in his entire life. Be the mountain boy. Father Eri repeated his question. Sojiro's mouth remained firmly shut. Not because he did not want to answer, but because he simply did not know how to. All he knew was even if he wanted to go back, he could not.
困ったものです。そこをはっきりさせないことにはいつまでも救いがない。故郷を捨てた理由もわからないのに、旅先の土地を愛することなんてまっとうな人間にはできませんよ。
Yeah, I think I get that.
これは忠告ですが、すべてを無条件に肯定したところで幸福になれるとは限りません。
Doesn't come from the unquestionable acceptance of everything.
あなたはもう少し自分の心を許してあげないと。
Another way just to be a little selfish. Sojiro could not make sense of what he was being told. Only the father's last word made any impression. Being inferior to yourself is easier said than done, of course. And what that entailed, Sojiro was uncertain of.
そういえば。
Toko had mentioned something similar before, and it had impressed him. First her, now this priest. How could people know things he hadn't even told them?
すごいですね。神父さんっていうのはみんなそうなんですか？
Nah, Sojiro said, curious as to where the weight on his shoulders had gone to. In a way, one of his strong points is the fact that his emotional scars do not show on the surface.
ええ、神父は悩みを暴くのが仕事ですから。
At least in a general way.
大抵は暴くだけで埋めるのに失敗するんですけどね。
悩みを暴くって、つまり相談事ですか？
そういうソフトなのも受けたまわっています。私が解決できる悩みなどたかが知れているようですけど。
The priest shrugged, looking a little disconcerted. Granted, Sojiro still did not trust Father Eri at all, but at that moment, anyone was a ray of light in his eyes.
じゃあ、たかが知れた程度の悩みを聞いてもらえますか？
君が青子をなぜ羨むかですね。
It was as though the priest could see into the boy's soul with his serene eyes.
まあ、そういうことです。自分でもどうしてそう思うのかがわからない。でもあなたならそれを知ってそうだ。
I mean, yeah, he
知り
did.
ませんけど、まあ無責任に答えましょうか。
Oh yeah, it was just a simple guess.
それはおそらくあなたには根拠がないからですよ。自分の色がないと例えた方が正確ですが。
Oh yeah, he lacks uniqueness. Sojiro squinted, trying to understand the priest's complicated yet concise answer.
ほら、そこです。君に優れた部分があるとしたら、山という異界から町に降りて一人で暮らしていけたこと。ようやく慣れた常識の中で青子たちという非常識と関わっても暮らしていけたこと。そうであると努めているにしても、あなたの順応性は際立っている。
I don't know if you consciously try to adapt. Your ability to do so.
原因は知りませんが、君には初めから自我というものが第一に現れてはいないのです。
Oh yeah, he lacks ambition.
何事にも対応できるものの、種に交わるほど器用でもない。
So in other words, he just lacks ambition. He lacks his own selfishness.
強いて言うのなら、色の乗っていない空白ですかね。
Yeah, the most accurate description of Sojiro.
風景に溶け込む自然さは素晴らしい人徳ですが、自我がないということは居場所がないということですから、いいことばかりじゃありません。
Oh wow.
ユイカにまで見えないというのは予想以上でしたが、姿なき精霊すら捉えるあれが見えなかったのですから、君の無欲ぶりも筋金入りだ。
Yeah, I think it describes that Sojiro is just a selfless boy and has and there's nothing that he wants. As if amused by something, Father Eri grinned. However, Sojiro understood neither the meaning of his smile nor his words.
憶測に過ぎませんが、青子はあなたを見て反感を覚えたと思いますよ。自分のないあなたは自己を押し通してきた彼女にとって認めがたいものだったでしょうから。
Whereas in soul like her, your lack of self.
そして同時に、あなたは青子に自分ではどうしても手に入れられないものを見てしまった。言葉にするとくだらない表現になりますが、そういうことです。
Because we're getting more into the character of Sojiro.
先ほどは嫉妬と言いましたが、それは訂正しましょう。
Oh, is that not?
君は青子に、いや、いいです。
Oh, he's stopping?
言葉にするのは、それこそ野暮だ。
Father Aries smiled gently. It was a fresh-faced grin that belied his age. Whenever it came to Aoko, he seemed to forget his role as a priest. But that was irrelevant to Sojiro.
神父さん、それで結局自分は青子のどこら辺に憧れてるんですか？
I don't think that would be answered by by just words. Sojiro responded to Father Aries' rambling by being direct. Some would say the priest had been direct himself, but this was Sojiro, and he needed things spelled out.
今のでもわからないと。参りましたね。こういうことは言葉を尽くすほど実感が湧かないものですが、私も神父と呼ばれる身です。少し切り口を変えて代弁してみましょう。
Change of tack.
あなたは青子の過去を知っていますか？
詳しくは知りません。高校デビューとかおかしな言葉を口にしてましたけど。
全く知らないということですね。いいでしょう。ではしずきくん、虐待のない例え話ですが、君は突然自殺しろと言われて従えますか？
自殺ですか？
そう、自殺です。神父である私が口にしていいことではありませんが、私は格好だけなのでいいでしょう。青子はね、近いことを求められたのです。15歳の時に彼女がそれまで積み重ねてきた努力も希望も過去も未来も全て捨てること。今日からお前は違う生き物として生きろとね。どうです？それは自己の抹消、未来の死と同じだと思いませんか？
His words fit what Aoko had said about her past. Until middle school, she led a normal life. Then, out of the blue, she became the family heiress in place of her sister. Becoming a magician meant casting aside the life she had known. She had to leave behind her ambitions and prospects and live the life of a mage, something she barely knew anything about. Her life up to that point had taught her that everything from then on would bring her misery. Aoko's grandfather was not the forceful type. Your sister has failed. Now it's your turn, he had said. Did Aoko resist? Sojiro could not begin to imagine. All he knew is that she could not be happy with the hand she was dealt. Even if the life of the magician was attractive, to believe the possibility that Aoko could give up her lifestyle up to that point was to not know her at all. Aoko Aozaki put her all into everything. She had probably achieved a lot in those 15 years. It's probably Sojiro's point of view. Her achievements and prospects were no doubt enough to make anyone jealous. But did she have the conviction to throw those away and go back to square one? And square one did not come close to the reality of it. The future she had envisioned for so long would have been obliterated.
青子どうしたんですか？
いやー、これがもう全くの頑固者でして、立ち会った私でさえどうかと思うぐらい簡単にうなずきました。
She nodded.
震える指を懸命に握り込んで、やってやろうじゃないと見栄を切ってね。彼女は祖父の期待や青崎の責任感からではなく、逃げることを嫌って魔術師の道を取ったんですよ。
Hates to run away from anything.
拒むことは逃げではないのでしょうが、青子にはそう思えたんでしょう。逃避という行為はこれまでの自分の時間を否定することになると。
Yeah, those are the exact same words that, similar words that Aoko said. Not to run away.
今までの自分を嘘にしてしまうのなら、今までの生活に別れを告げることを青子は選んだのです。まあ極端ではありますが、あれは前に進むためなら全てを捨てられる人間なんです。
An affectionate smile crossed Father Aries' face, rather than signaling his closeness to Aoko, and conveyed the pride of a guardian.
です
His guardian?
私も
It was
思
her
い違い
guardian?
をしていました。結局はそうなるように青子は育てられていたのです。彼女の祖父は瞳子が家を出ることも、青子が跡継ぎを了解することも読んだ上で、あの二人を育ててきた。形だけですが、私も神父としてさすがにそれはどうかと思いましてね。柄にもなく青子を説得したものです。祖父の思い通りになることはありません。なんなら私とメキシコあたりに逃げませんかと。
Aoko or Aoko?
しかしまあ躊躇なく振られました。
Yeah, I assume it's Aoko.
その時の彼女の返答は今でも一言一句覚えています。
だって私一人がどんなに泣き叫んでも今の状況は変わらないんでしょ。私にしかできないなら正面から受けて立つ。たとえ不本意で突然投げ込まれた川の中でだってできることはあるはずだもの。逃げるなんてのは最後の最後。
Only a last resort.
それまではせいぜい華麗に踊ってやるわ。
The priest recited her words as if recalling lines from a favorite play. Wow, he has some good memory. Good memory. It certainly seemed like something she would say. The last thing Aoko said in the room was recovering and probably meant the same. Of course, when an audience is watching, you want their approval. However, approval must come from within first. Aoko worked to feel proud of herself before worrying about how others viewed her. She at least wanted to do her job with grace. In response to everything she had lost, she would hang in there, even if it meant going in it alone. God damn it, why is it giving me a warning notice already? This for fucking bullshit. I'm just leisurely reading. As for why Sojiro envied her, well, that was obvious. To Sojiro, she lived her life with her head held high. He was a boy who accepted everything, but had nothing. She was a girl who threw it all away, but never lost a thing. The contradiction. He stood in a meeting room alone, seeing the ugliness within, and the sublime outside. Looking back, he finally realized what was eating at him.
もういいでしょう。君は青子の容姿に感じ入ったのではなく、青崎青子という生き方に感じ入ったのです。ま、青子は青子でれっきとした美人ですが。
She isn't physically beautiful. Damn, just dissing her like that. Sojiro nodded. From the day he first met her, that was indeed how he had felt. It just took him now to realize it. The strength in her eyes and her unwavering will had captured his heart.
なんかすごい汗我慢だ。
本当に小娘のくせにギネス級の頑固さです。
Father Aries spoke from the heart. Sojiro raised his head, gave a small grin, and scratched his cheek. So many hours wasted brooding like an idiot. A part of him still felt strange, but it didn't bother him to leave the question unsolved for now. Unable to stay still, he stood up. He couldn't care less about the Awazaki family mage betters, or Aoko rushing off to her death. Right now, he just wanted to see her face.
お待ちなさい。病室は立ち入り禁止です。
The cold words echoed around the chapel. They reached Sojiro as he was about to head back to Aoko. Ah, yes. Teiu, the blind sister. The sightless sister must have been waiting by the altar. She moved quickly to block his path.
ユイカさん、今、病室には入れないんですか？
Yuika.
はい。しばらく人よけをしてほしいと、クオンジ様からことづかっています。
Pretty big.
アリスが？
Sojiro was suspicious of why Alice would have said that. He could understand being kept out if Aoko was being treated, or her condition has worsened, but this seemed different. Besides, Aoko herself said her treatment had finished.
人がいいのですね、シスターユイカは。そんな方便をしなくてもいいんですよ。はっきり言ってあげればいい。今から病室に行っても無駄です。と。
Oh, so they actually got out. Yeah. No surprise.
青子はとっくに出発しているんですから。
エイリ神父。
The priest began to explain everything from the pew he still sat in, about the thing he and Sojiro had spoken about, and why he, a stranger, would be so concerned about a person he knew nothing about. It all became clear to Sojiro. That he's a prisoner?
初めからそのつもりだったんですね。
I mean, you were kind of distracted in a daze, Sojiro, so... Sojiro's face was full of anger, but Father Eri did not flinch.
申し訳ありません。青子にあなたの保護を頼まれたもので。
She did say that he would be protected.
彼女の準備が整うまでの時間稼ぎでしたが、私があなたと話をしたかったのは事実ですよ。
The priest's attempt to smooth things over was far from sincere. Sojiro grit his teeth to control his rage. Why had they not stopped Aoko and Alice from heading towards certain death? Because both the nun and priest were of the same ilk as the mages. As such, they understood Aoko's decision, and the priest understood Aoko too. Even if he did have the power to stop her, he would not have. The Aoko Aozaki he knew was not about to hide away in a church and lick her wounds.
アリスは？
青子と行きましたよ。あれから30分は過ぎていますね。
30 minutes. Father Eri even went so far as to divulge the time. 30 minutes ago, same time the priest reared his head. It would not even take half that long to get to the school from here. And then another 10 minutes or less to get to Misaki High's old school building from there. Oh, so you know which way. Sojiro turned to the entrance of the chapel. However,
待ちなさい。どこへ行くつもりですか？
the sound of her voice stopped him in his tracks. Ah yes, freezing magic, or freezing magecraft. An unseen pressure had locked him in place. Her admonition seemed to carry spellbinding power, stopping the foolhardy boy where he stood.
あなたは魔術師同士の争いを知りません。何の助力にもならないばかりか。彼女たちの足かせになるだけです。
I mean, she is making sense. Like, what are you gonna do? I mean, sure, you just want to see her face, but what else would you do? You're just human.
彼女たちが命を落とすのは彼女たちの業によるもの。望むままに傷つけ合えばいいでしょう。あなたのような何の咎もない若者が教示に立ち会うことはありません。
She spoke with quiet anger. Her contempt was not directed at Aoko or Alice, though, but Sojiro for being so eager to waste his life.
何かしら希望があるのなら私も止めはしません。ですがこの件は別です。あなたが言っても彼女たちが助かることはありません。
I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, as cool as it is. You're nothing. You're just a normal human being that just raised up in the mountains. I mean, you did give them leads. That's more than enough. She was right. It would be pointless of him to go. At the amusement park, he had been useless in the end. Now, they faced something even worse. He couldn't even imagine how he might contribute this time.
言っておきますが、青崎青子は祖父に護身術を教え込まれています。魔術以外でもあなたより腕は立つ。その彼女もあの使い魔が相手では勝負にならない。
Sojiro's physical strength his only edge meant nothing. If he went now, he would only get in their way. Yuiko was correct. And yet...
でも行かないと。青子には返さなくちゃいけない借りがあります。
For what reason? He spoke calmly but firmly. Though almost moved, the sister frowned slightly. She felt bad for him, but her warning was for his own good. If he would not listen to reason, then she would have to make him sleep. She raised a finger of binding at Sojiro.
それを言うなら返したい借りがあるですよ、宗十郎君。
You want. Oh yeah, the greed.
それとシスターユイカ、教会内での魔術は控えてくださいね。使うのなら秘跡に留めてもらわないと私の査定に響きます。
Oh, he's letting him go?
おとなしそうに見えて律香君より短気なんですから、あなたは。
エイリ神父、しかし
行かせてあげればいいじゃないですか。それともあなたはやはり青子たちに退場してほしいと？
What, are you trying to say that he has a fighting chance?
その問題と彼の献身は別の話です。改めなさい、しずきさん。あなたが言っても何もできはしないのですから。
The truth of the statement cut Sojiro deep. But despite everything that was being said, his mind was made up. It always had been, even if he was not certain. He at least would not hesitate. He had always followed his instincts to the end, no matter where they took him.
分かっています。でも行かないと。ここにいたら本当に何もできない。
His heart burned in his chest. While he listened to the priest talk, he could only think of seeing Aoko. He was not worried. He did not want to help. He just wanted to see her. Simple as that. He could figure out what came next once he got there.
ほら、献身なんて考え自体が間違ってるんです。足を引っ張ると言いますが、どのみち青子たちに勝ち目はないんでしょう？なら、彼がマイナスになってもいいじゃないですか。どうせ破産するなら、豪快に破産すれば。
神父。
ほら、宗十郎君、言って言って。シスター、今のあなたの返事で心が折れましたから。足、動くでしょ？
As soon as the priest pointed at Sojiro, he could move again. The pressure weighing on his shoulders lifted, along with the fear in his heart. Could he help? Would he expose Aoko and Alice to more danger? All such doubts had vanished.
行きます。縁が残っていればまた。
はい。なんであれ、後悔のない一日を。
Guess he found his selfishness. And with that, Sojiro began to run, as Father Eri watched with a look of satisfaction. The priest knew he could not persuade Aoko. He could not convince Sojiro either. He watched the impetuous boy run away, as the blind nun listened to his footsteps fade into the distance. Yuiko was different for Sojiro and the priest. While she showed no mercy to corruption or self-righteousness, she embraced benevolence to the innocent. Such an ordinary boy with his life ahead of him. and yet he chose to follow heretics in hell.
最悪ですね、エイリ神父。分別のつかない子供を導くのが責任のある大人だと思いましたが。
She made no effort to hide her biting disapproval. She's like the nagging mother. It was simply her way of showing concern for the boy. Ooh, mommy. Father Aries
だから
shrugged.
いろいろと間違えていますよ、シスターユイカ。責任のある大人なんて言葉自体がおかしい。
Responsible adult.
何が起きても責任を取る。それが正しい大人というものです。
Is someone who takes responsibility no matter what. Reminds me of Sensei from Blue Archive. The rest went unspoken. It didn't matter to him which of them died. With a warm, goody smile, the priest corrected the nun's misunderstanding. Thus, the end of Witch on the Holy Night Part 1. Although it's kind of a short run, but I think I'm gonna end this here. Oh, gotta save. There we go. See the archive. Oh, we're about... I don't know. Are we almost closed? I can't tell. Maybe this... I mean, it's a large book. Maybe it would fit the last section? Question mark? But I think I'm seeing some titles on the book that correlates to the story. Urban style, so what? Lunch of our choice? What does that mean? Yeah, but I think I'm just gonna end this here and see which of the Holy Night Part 2 has in store. Yeah, sure. There's a bit of a snag of the lag on stream. I don't know why. I don't know why. I mean, overall it kind of went well. Still unsure if I'm close to the end. Maybe I am. I mean, this does reveal the sea of white petal flowers. I don't know what kind of flowers they are. But it did show up in the title of the movie teaser. So I guess that's something? I don't know. Curious. But anyway. Yeah, that's about it for part 1. I think I'll stream on part 2 the next time. If the internet connection is good so far. I don't know. But yeah. So far we've gotten more character development on Sojiro. We get the fact that he's the complete opposite to Aoko. He has something she has something that Sojiro doesn't. Ambition. The soul drive and selfishness and greed. Because Sojiro sorely lacks greed. Yet he's still going to see Aoko just for the sight of it. I don't know, maybe the wolf would just bite him when he sees them? When he sees her? Maybe. Who knows? Guess I'll figure out on the next chapter. But yeah. I don't know, it kind of feels like we're a bit near at the end. But anyways, thanks for watching to anyone who's here. This has been Nex-oz. I wish you all have a good day, and so am I. Who knows, maybe we'll finish this on the next stream. But for now, thank you.